if you look at the drive chart for Oregon, offensively it was 3 and out, 3 and out. You started to get a little bit nervous. That was not what was expected. Oregon came into the game heavy favorites if you look at the spread. Oregon finished, if anyone cares about the spread, as covering the spread. The Ducks are 5-0 against the spread this year. But after those 2 3 and outs, touchdown, field goal attempt in which Oregon was moving the ball, ran out of time at the end of the first half. Touchdown, end of the ball game. That's the offensive drive chart for Oregon. The defensive drive chart, field goal allowed, punt, turnover on downs. So as the game continued to move on, both the offense continued to excel and the defense continued to excel as well. That's the sign of a strong football team. A lot of big moments made it happen from both the offensive and defensive side of the ball. Let's see the game recap of all the big plays that happened on Saturday. Here it is.
Big ball game for a lot of reasons. For Oregon, the opportunity to stay undefeated. Here's back to throw again. Lamps it, pressure, hit it, he'll go down. Back at the 46 of the Cardinal, and the first Duck there, Carby Jackson, and the snap back to throw. Hit, and a bull rush. Oh! Well, we saw him do that last week. Evan Williams came out of nowhere, right up the middle, untouched. And gives it to James again, and he may go all the way. 5, touchdown, Jordan James. What a huge hole on the left side.
Boy, was there ever.
And Bo with a snap. They hand it off to Bucky again. Gets through a big hole, cuts outside a straight arm. To the 5, he'll get it to the 2. Oh, touchdown, Bucky Irving. That was pretty much a great job on the offensive line. And then the best was Bucky.
He is slippery, he's powerful.
Ball under center, give it to Joe. He's going to throw it to the end zone. What a catch by Fergie! Touchdown, Oregon! Terrence Ferguson. Don't you dare try to take it away from me. So 2nd and 3. Bo off of play action to throw. Pressure, but throws it way downfield. Franklin's there. Sidesteps 1, 5. Touchdown, Ducks! Troy Franklin with a nifty move after he caught the ball. He made a Cardinal whiff. Bo with a snap. Quick throw over. Franklin, he'll get there. Touchdown, Troy Franklin. You block like that, I'm going to give you a chance to score. Troy Franklin, touchdown, Ducks. Here's Bo. Wants to throw. Inside throw. There's Holden. Ain't no doubt about that. Great route, great throw, tremendous catch, and another touchdown, Oregon. The final second ticks off, and Oregon ends it with a 42-6 win.
Way to go, Duck fans, traveling down to Stanford this weekend. I got to tell you, I was at the game. It felt like there were more Oregon fans in the stands than there were Stanford fans. That is the sign of a great fan base. Way to go, Duck fans. Way to travel. It's been a difficult time for Oregon traveling down to Stanford, especially the last time the Ducks went down. It was an upset that the Cardinals were able to have in overtime against the Ducks in 2021. You thought with the slow start for Oregon, there were just a little bit of flashbacks, but this team, like I mentioned, continued to just get better as the game continued to move on. And that's the sign of a really strong football team. A win for a top 10 Oregon squad. They were number 9 entering the game. They're now number 8 in the new AP poll. Oregon just continuing to march their way forward and take care of business ahead of what is going to be a big-time matchup coming up. Not next week, but in 2 weeks from now. This Saturday going to be a bye week, and then next Saturday it's going to be Washington. But we're not there yet. We're still on Stanford. Coach Lanning, he talked with Mike Jorgensen after the game. Here is Jorgy with Coach.
Congratulations on the big victory today. Moved to 2-0 in league and 5-0 overall. Back-to-back weeks, 42-6. But this one kind of started a little bit different, didn't it?
It was a little bit slower start for us. You know, they were able to move the ball down the field a little bit. They did things that we had prepared for, but they did a good job of it. And then for us to go out there and have 2 3 and outs early with our offense, I thought our guys had to settle in a little bit and then impose their will, which they did, you know, after that first 2 drives.
But you guys were really patient with that. I mean, it could be kind of an odd start like that when you got the offense on the field. 3 plays in the first quarter. You guys know all that in that type deal. But the importance of the defense, even being out on the field, to hold Stanford to field goals on those first 2 drives.
Yeah, I mean, they did ball control offense for their side of the ball, and they kept us off the field. It's hard to create momentum and juice. I thought our guys were patient and waited for their opportunity, and they took advantage of it when it came.
When you guys really got it going in that second quarter, and obviously the run game, pass game, the combination of really is a key for your offense to get off the sideline and onto the field and get in rhythm.
Yeah, and once we got into a rhythm, our guys were able to execute. They pitched a couple different looks that we hadn't seen yet from them this year. Thought they had some good answers, and then once we were able to kind of game plan that, we figured it out.
Defense really off those first 2 drives just shut down Stanford at the line of scrimmage, made things really difficult, and some key 4th down stops that you guys then flipped into a touchdown were big plays too.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about 3rd down conversion rate. It's even more important when you stop them on 4th down when they're going for it. And they had to get more aggressive there in the game to keep themselves in it, and our guys did a good job in those moments.
A great start in the third quarter, up 14-6, and you get the ball to open the second half, and that 4th down play to Terrence Ferguson. Up high, big tight end like that, athletic, and the ball thrown right on the spot. Talk about that catch.
Yeah, you talk about plays that we've worked consistently in practice. Will knew when he was ready to call it, and our guys went out there and executed at a high level.
Yeah, 28. So you go to 28-6, 4th down and 1 stop, turn it into a touchdown the other way. Troy Franklin, great block on before the catch he makes for the touchdown. But again, flipping that where Stanford thinks they're going to score, you guys make the stop and turn it into a touchdown. That really almost kind of put the end of the game right there.
Yeah, we talked about coming out of half. Every time we touch the ball, we're going to go score. And I think we did on every drive except for the very last one where we decided to kneel it out. That's how you change a game.
Well, this is the way you want to head into a bye week, and bye week doesn't necessarily mean rest, but tell us a little bit about what the bye week is going to look like in 2 weeks playing Washington.
We ain't going into bye week. We're going into work week.
Work week means?
We're working.
Okay, good. Okay, well, Coach, congratulations. We'll let you go. I know that you guys want to get dressed and get cleaned up in a tape. We'll get some players out here, but congratulations again.
Thanks, Jorgy. Appreciate you.
That's Coach Dan Lanning with Mike Jorgensen. Adrian asks on the YouTube about the Facebook stream. Had a little bit of issues streaming with some internet connectivity at the start of the show. It's all up and good now. So if you are watching along on YouTube or Facebook, everything should be completely operational. Coach Lanning also spoke with the media on the road. A little bit of a different setup than what we have here at Autzen Stadium when the Ducks are at home. So might be a little bit more difficult to hear the media's questions, but still able to hear from Dan Lanning. Still should be able to hear a little bit of the questions asked, but of course on the road it's a little bit of a different setup. We did the best with what we got. Here is Coach Dan Lanning talking with the media post-game after the win against Stanford.
I think our guys just had heightened awareness all day, and there was a couple times I thought he was running free that we didn't cover him great, but the pressure combined with the coverage I think equaled them not being able to get him the ball. So we knew 84. He's a hell of a player. He's one of the best we'll see in this conference, one of the best we'll face all year, and if we knew if we handled that and quarterback runs, we'd be in a good position.
What was the difference between the half and the start? You referenced the slow start. Wasn't that the case in the second half? What was the difference?
Yeah, I think ultimately we were kind of hurting ourselves. We were playing behind the chains a little bit on offense. We weren't having as efficient runs. I thought our coaches made some good adjustments in the second half about what runs we liked. They did some schematic change-ups early in the game too, stuff we hadn't seen from them before. We had to adapt to that and be able to adjust our call sheet based on that. And then our players just knew it was going to be the long haul. We've talked about winning the fourth quarter. We won the fourth quarter today. We didn't win it last week. Just all those pieces added together, I think it came together at the end for us.
Both teams really settled in after the first couple of drives. What did you see from him? Just the offense turning the page after the first couple.
Yeah, I thought he showed patience, right? If you go in there forcing it, like I said, they pitched a couple different looks at us, and then when we came out in the second half, they really played the defense they've been playing all year, right? Once they got back to what they'd done all year, we had some really good answers for it, and they got out of some of the funkier stuff they were doing early on.
What do you see from Nico to start potentially in the game as a big PBU on fourth down? Just what do you see from him?
Yeah, that's what we talk about when we say strength in numbers, right? Like we have a guy that's up, ready to play. He's a really quality player, and he competed on some tough throws today and was able to play physical. Had a good blitz at the end there. Was able to get in on a third down. So exactly what I expected from him, right? We brought him here for a purpose, and he did a great job.
It's another 100-yard day for Troy. Again, every defense knows they have to try to take him away. were very successful this season. So what is it about him that he's just able to continue to promise for?
Well, I think our coaches, one, do a good job of finding ways to move him around to where we can find matchups. I think our quarterback has a heightened awareness to where he's at, and when we have a chance to get it to him, we want to. And then he does a good job finding the ball in the air. I mean, he adjusts to the ball really well. Certainly he's a strength of our team, but what's great is we have other strengths around him, so you can't just dedicate all your time to one player because there's some other players that are going to hurt you on the field if you do that.
I know you just read out of the game, but just maybe review the 5-0 start, now you're going into the bye week, and kind of how that feels, and maybe will you be able to settle down and do this coming week?
Yeah, we're not going into bye week, we're going into work week. Right, our guys know what our goals are, what we have to accomplish, right? And a lot of their teams are going to relax this week. We're going to get better, right? And we started exactly how we expect to start, right? But we're about to go play a real opponent there. Those guys are playing good ball up north, so we got to bring our best. It's got to be one of our great preparations. We got some really tough teams down the road, so we got to continue to build and play our best ball moving forward.
I know it ended with a missed field goal over the last 40 seconds in the first half. The execution going down the field with one timeout. What stood out there? Just because that speaks to what Hope can do.
Yeah, I think our guys knew exactly what we were trying to accomplish. I probably could have called that timeout a little bit earlier. I let like 10 seconds run off the clock there, but you're trying to make a decision. Are they going to go for it or not? Once you figured out that they're probably not going to go for it, that's one where I could have called that timeout just a little bit earlier. But our guys understood the situation, understood the time of clock. I mean, to be able to run the ball at the very end there, to get it within field goal kick position there and call a timeout, I mean, I think that's really smart. Bucky going down instead of fighting for extra yards. That we talk about being the smartest team in college football, and those are the situations we got to be the lead at. And then, Cam's going to make that kick, 9 out of 10 times, 99 out of 100 times, and it didn't happen today. That's all right. We're trained for it now.
I feel like Kyrie had a little bit of a left hip issue there, and left didn't come back in. Popo played very early, but then they asked us, what's their status? What's their
Yeah, I don't completely know yet. We'll have to, get with medical staff and figure out exactly where they're at. Like I said, strength and numbers showed up today. We had some other guys that could go in there and contribute.
What did you see out of Jordan James, especially on that drive where he scored the touchdown?
Well, I love running backs that look for contact, right? I love running backs that don't look to just run out of bounds. And Jordan James, when he touches the ball, he looks to score. So he ran hard. He's a physical runner. He's proven he can get north and south. I thought he did a good job of that today.
You said Monday, bring your own juice, got that for the game. How do you feel like you guys did, and pretty much a crowd that was here that was pretty pro-worthy?
Yeah, I'm so grateful to our fans. It felt like a home game in a lot of ways with the juice that we had from our crowd. When they travel like that, that makes it a special environment for wherever we go. And I have that same expectation for them the rest of this year because they certainly made it, a great environment for us. I thought our players, they came in with the right mentality. We didn't play any music all week at practice, for a reason. I told the players, hey, when I hear you singing on the sideline, I know we've done something right. Right, so those guys, they brought the juice. And again, we didn't start off as fast as we wanted to. A little slow on D at times. Didn't give up a touchdown, right? But a little slow on O with those 3 and outs. Once we got through that, we kind of figured it out and settled in.
You mentioned kind of the work this week, and I'm wondering, I guess, from last year, this year, if you've changed how you're handling bye weeks and how much of that is just going to be Washington, how much of that is working?
Yeah, I mean, we've adjusted some things, but, we have a plan in place. We'll work future opponents. We'll work, certainly, Washington. We got some good teams coming up, so and then we really got to self-scout ourselves, right? It's time to peel back the layers and figure out, okay, what do we have to do to be a dominant team moving forward? Yeah, play the game, not the occasion. It's no different than the other big games that we've been a part of. We're going to be a part of a lot more. It's about the 20-mile march consistently. On Monday, we can't go out there and march 60 miles. Right? When we march 20 miles, we'll be consistent with our approach. Find something we can get better at. Aim small, miss small. Right? We're going to pick small details that we can improve schematically, individually for each person on our team. And then we're going to try to figure out how to take away other teams' strengths.
Coach, 2 tackles for loss today, 2 sacks last week. I know you haven't watched film from today, obviously, but just what have you seen from him, just like the physicality over the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, he's a big man. He's hard to block, right? I mean, you talk about differences in teams this year, last year. One thing that we have is we have a front where we have guys that can roll and make an impact. And I think that makes it really hard to go play quarterback when you got somebody that knows, on your neck. And he's proven that he can be a guy that's like that.
How does the level of intensity change from like a super high energy game last week with Colorado to a game like this week, and then you got the bye week, and then you go obviously a big top 10 matchup after the bye week? How does that change?
It's based on the maturity of your team. I think we have a mature team. We have good leaders on this team. And again, it's about consistency, right? You can't let your highs get too high and your lows get too low. I think our guys understand the approach. They certainly understand the mission at hand.
2 penalties today. I know that was kind of an issue, a focal point the last 3 weeks. What do you attribute that to? And I guess in coverage in particular, how you guys stood up?
I think our guys are tired of doing up downs. That's probably what I would attribute it to, right? So we'll be doing less.
work week this week for Oregon football, but preparing for a few other teams Coach Lanning mentioned, and Washington coming up not this Saturday, next Saturday up in Seattle. Kick time announced for that game. It will be 12:30 on ABC, another prime time kick right in the middle of the Saturday slate for Oregon football, and what should be a top 10 matchup with Washington also going to be coming off of a bye into that game. Should be a good one up north coming up in 2 weeks. Also want to remember a Duck legend who passed away this weekend at the age of 70, Russ Francis, a two-sport athlete, Oregon football player, pass catcher, also track and field athlete, roommate with Steve Prefontaine, first-round draft pick for the New England Patriots, passed away this weekend, remembering a Duck legend who was the leading receiver on the 1973 football team, celebrating an Oregon football and Oregon athletics legend. We're back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with the Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with the Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer.
In response to attacks against Asian Americans, Maddie Park raised over $250,000 to donate cab rides to the Asian community.
There is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
Support the Asian community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union in the Country Financial Studio. I'm Ryan Milano breaking down the 42-6 win over Stanford. It's never a bad sign when you can have a 42-6 win and then back it up the very next week with a 42-6 win. Complete offense, complete defense, some offensive and defensive stars of the game. Talked with the Oregon Sports Network guys on the football show, on the post-game show after the game. First, it was Bucky Irving. He had a touchdown run in the ball game. He met up with Jorgy post-game.
Congratulations. You guys moved to 5-0 on the season, 2-0 in league, back-to-back 42-6 victories. Talk about that win today.
I mean, we're just trying to focus on the little things now, trying to get better as a team each and every week, seeing on what we can improve on as an offense and just as a team, period. We just want to go back, watch the film, see what we can improve at, and get ready for the next couple games that we got coming up.
Kind of an odd start to the game tonight, wasn't it? When's the last time you've only been on the field 3 times in the first quarter?
I can't even think about it. I don't even remember. But, I mean, we just told ourselves we got to start fast. Next time we get the opportunity to go back down offense and just do our thing when we have the ball.
Yeah, what was most impressive about you, your team, offense, defense, special teams, and even though the way the game started, you guys didn't flinch and just got it going again, and that's a testament to the leadership on the team, isn't it?
Yes, sir. We just know that we was going to have to come out with some adversity, but we choose to just put our heads down and lock arms with each other and get this thing rolling.
You and Jordan James obviously picking up the slack for Noah not being able to be at that game today. Both of you had 88 yards today and key runs and that type of deal. What do you and Jordan talk about now that it's just the two of you right now for the most part?
I mean, I always trusted Jordan. Ever since he came in as a freshman, he always worked. He always prepared like he was a starter. So when it was the time when Noah went down, I already knew he was going to be prepared, and I knew he was going to have my back. And so now I just don't worry about him because I know he's going to come in and do exactly what he's supposed to do when his number is called.
Got a couple of weeks before your next game with Washington, and I asked Coach Lanning and said, okay, you guys, what's this next week look like? And he says work. And I said, well, what does that mean? He said, it's work week. That's all he would give me. So you guys got to go back to work. You can't obviously take time off. Big game coming up 2 weeks with Washington, but this is the type of thing you need to have going into a bye week, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, for sure. We're going to treat this bye week just like we preparing for a game. I mean, we're going to come out, work each and every week, and then we're just going to get closer to game week, and it's just going to ready to get this thing rolling.
Thanks for taking time to join us after the game. We love watching you, man. Great to have you on the team. Bucky Irving, you guys, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations.
Appreciate you.
Bucky Irving, a tough runner on Saturday, a tough runner really every week of the season. He has been very, very good this year, talking about him and Jordan James. The rushing attack for Stanford, it happened a lot in that game. High quantity, but low potency. Averaged less than 1.5 yards per rush, at least for the quarterback run. 25 rushing attempts for the quarterbacks of the Cardinal in the game. A lot of them up the middle, and it was the defensive front for Oregon that did a really stout job of stopping those runs through the A and B gap by the QB. Casey Rogers, one of the many defensive linemen on the interior that really ate up the middle for the Ducks. He also talked with Jorgy postgame.
Congratulations. Big win down here. Weird start, obviously. Defense on the field the whole first quarter, it seemed like, and offense runs 3 plays, and yet you guys didn't flinch. You just got it going.
Yeah, I would say we had a little bit of a slow start, which isn't acceptable for us. We were ready for the environment to not be as loud as games we played previously. But for the most part, I think after we woke up a little bit, we came out firing and were able to execute. And defense, we had to stop. At first, they were running the ball with their quarterback, and we were able to kind of figure that out, stop it right away. And after that, we kind of dominated the rest of the game. But it was, like you said, a slow start, but it's a learning experience, and we came out of it with a win. So, and fairly healthy. So it's a good night for the Ducks, and we're ready for this bye week to get ready for the next big one.
About the importance of those first 2 defensive drives, or the drives when the defense was on the field, field goals. They're not touchdowns, but Stanford only got field goals, and even though they ran a ton of plays, only 6 points on the board.
Yeah, obviously 3 is better than 6. So, those 3 drives, we knew they wanted to establish a run game, which we knew we had to knock out early, which I think we did a fairly good job of. They did move the ball a little bit, but, we were able to kind of slow it down a little bit and figure out what they were looking to do and capitalize on our calls. But, yeah, no, we emphasize if they're in the red zone, they shouldn't score. And, 3 points, like I said, 3 points is better than 6. So I think the defense did a pretty good job of, keeping them out of the end zone early. And, that kind of slowed Stanford down a little bit, and our offense was able to execute, which put us on top. So,
what are you guys talking about on the sideline when a game starts that way? Offensively, defensively, special teams, what are the different things you guys talk about?
Yeah, just keep going. The flow of the game will fix itself. We knew that there wasn't going to necessarily be a lot of juice coming from the crowd this game, so we talked about bring your own juice all week, which I think we did actually a fairly good job of. But they, obviously they came out firing right away. Every time a team plays Oregon, it's going to be their Super Bowl. So we knew they were going to come out firing, which they did a good job of. It just took us a little bit of time, to finally kind of slow them down a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's something we can learn from, and we won't let it happen again.
Back-to-back 42-6 victories, headed into a bye week. What's that mean to you guys, and to be able to give your bodies a little bit of a rest as you prepare for Washington in a couple weeks?
Yeah, I think that could be huge if we take it to our advantage, obviously. So, Washington's obviously a game that we've circled on our schedule for a while now, and going into a bye week, it's a lot of teams might say, okay, let's rest and let's rest our guys and let them relax a little bit. But I don't think that's what Coach Lanning's going to let us do. We're going to keep working. it just gives us an extra 2 weeks to prepare for a big opponent, in which we're going to take every advantage of. So we're excited to get back to work tomorrow and start preparing for Washington. Like I said earlier, we've had this game circled on our calendars for a while.
Thanks for joining us. Congratulations again.
Yeah, of course. Appreciate it. Thank you.
A really stout run defense for the Ducks this weekend against Stanford. The Cardinal ran the ball 46 times in this ballgame. The Ducks held them to 1.9 yards per rush. That's going to win you a lot of ball games. Really strong job by the defensive front seven, and really the entire defense to hold Stanford, because it was a team effort. Because Oregon, because Stanford was running the ball, had a lot of one-on-one coverages on the outside. The defense stepped up, too, on the secondary as well. Strong defensive effort for Oregon, holding the Cardinal to just 6. And offensively, after going 3 and out, running just 6 plays on the first 2 drives, Oregon really settled in on offense. Bo Nix, after having a few drives where Oregon couldn't move the ball, settled into a final line that we've come familiar with from Bo Nix. 27 for 32, completion percentage of 84%, 290 yards through the air, 4 touchdowns. That is a complete line, and it's a very similar line to really what Bo Nix has produced every single game this season. It's been consistency from the quarterback position, and the quarterback talked with the media postgame after the win.
Well, I think the reason we were slow at the gates is because we had 6 plays in the first quarter, and that really be all. They weren't doing necessarily anything, we haven't ever seen, or they didn't reinvent the wheel or anything. We just, our plays were set up for some other things, and then we just had to get settled in and find those things that worked against what they were doing. And once that happened, we put up a lot of stuff.
I'm just curious what the conversation on the sideline were after you guys have been so consistent with your offense and you had a couple of pickups. What the conversations were and how confident you were that things would get corrected?
We were extremely confident. We just felt like we just needed to get a first down, and then we'd be rolling, and that's what happened.
It's another week with a 100-yard game for Troy. It felt like they could love trying to take away one guy. How is it that you're able to keep getting the ball to him despite every defense wanting to take him away?
Well, I think it's a credit to those other receivers and tight ends playing out there. They can't just completely take away him, or they'll get hurt by somebody else. And we've shown that over and over and over. And, Troy's strengths are really good. He's great in one-on-one situations. He just finds a way somehow to make that explosive play a game. And really just help himself out with the yardage total. But everybody else, I felt like as receivers and tight ends, everybody contributed today. Everybody played a key role, and the ball was just being, spit out to a bunch of different people.
No game now this next week. What do you think is the most important thing for you guys to get out of this?
I think just, growing as a unit, finding the details that we got to fix, and, going this next week, making sure that we fix those so that, we don't keep making consistent mistakes.
Jordan James stepping into a little bit of a different role, kind of showing more of the complete package that he is as a back. Just what did you see from him? And he did score the first touch and kind of get you guys going.
Yeah, he did really well. He contributes when his number's called. He's a great, next guy up after Bucky, and those 2 guys are obviously filling a bigger role now. With Noah's unfortunate circumstance, but those guys are ready to fill that role, and they're really good running backs.
But what you just like about the throw to Ferg, why you like that play? Would you like that matchup?
Well, we've been practicing that play for a while, just heavy play action. Felt like he would pop in the back, and that's what happened. DB had blind eyes, and Ferg went up, made a heck of a catch. And, that's the kind of stuff that Ferg is capable of doing. We just got to find, ways to get him the ball.
Pretty simple question. Just what do you think of your overall performance?
It was solid. Felt like I could have contributed more early. That way we wouldn't have sputtered. But obviously looking back, that's every hindsight's 20/20. But I felt like just a few of those incompletions, could either ran or found ways to, either give them a better ball or complete the pass. But that's one thing that one of my goals is just play extremely efficient and keep the ball off the ground, get the ball out to where it's supposed to get to. I felt like I was confident going into the game, and then when they, as we adjusted, as we got throughout the second quarter and things settled down, I felt like, I got my eyes back where they were supposed to get, too, and just make sure that, I was seeing things the right way and making sure that each play was had a life of its own, and go out there and execute it to the best of my ability. Obviously, you always you miss a few and you want to go back to a few, but fortunately for us, a win's a win, and 5-0 start is exactly what you prepare for. So I'm not going to complain about that.
You literally started more games today than a quarterback in college football. What does this next one mean? We're going to hear 2 weeks about it's a top 10 matchup, this rivalry, last year's game with the late injury to you, 2 Heisman contending quarterbacks. What does this stage that you're about to be on mean to you?
Well, I think, it's the most important game because it's the next one. And each game has a life of its own. Each game, has to be treated like it's the Super Bowl. And, it's a good thing for us that, we can kind of reset with this off week and can go into it, fresh and ready to go. But I believe they're in the same boat. So, it's going to be an all-out battle. It's going to be an all-out brawl, especially after last year and especially how both teams have started this year. I'm extremely excited about it. I know they are too, but, for us, it's the next thing. It's the next 20 miles of our march. And so how can we go about it? How can we, do it as efficiently and, as good as we can do it? And this is a big week for us. Everybody's going to be excited, but you got to keep the main thing the main thing. You got to go out there and play 11 on 11, and you got to execute when your number's called. And, at the end of the day, it's just I believe in games like this, it's who can execute the longest, who can execute for 4 quarters, because it's going to come down to a play or two and, which side's going to make it. And, it's up to us to make sure we put ourselves in position to make those plays.
That's Bo Nix, the quarterback, always trying to improve, always something to nitpick after another really strong performance from Bo Nix. Also, Yogi Roth of the Pac-12 Network, he had a little bit of an introspective look into Bo Nix. He was released this weekend. Really good stuff. If you want to go and check that out, get a little bit of a more inside look onto the quarterback. That stuff was a great put out this weekend. Bo Nix hooked up with his wide receiver 1, Troy Franklin, 7 times this weekend, 117 yards, 2 touchdowns. The 3rd time this year where Troy Franklin has had a 2-touchdown day. Here is Troy Franklin.
For you personally, what's it like to come home and put together a performance like this individually, but also your team as well?
It felt pretty good. Got the good win. Came home, got to, perform in front of some family and friends. So that was pretty cool.
Slow start to the game, and then the second half, you guys really poured it on. What was just the difference between the 2 halves?
I think it was just those openers are kind of tricky. I think we just kind of got off to a slow start because, probably good to them, they did their job, But after that, we just kind of, the message on the sideline was to just stay locked in, stay focused. We knew we were going to get started somehow. It was just a matter of when it was going to come. But yeah, it was just to stay focused, locked in. We know we were going to get rolling soon.
2 instances, Troy. The second drive, when Bo's on the phone with Rose upstairs, you both walked over to him. What did you see when there? And then walk us through the 46-yard touchdown, just what you're seeing and the cutback.
For sure. Well, I really asked him. I was asking him if he was talking to Coach Salk. Then I was just telling them that they were playing like kind of really soft and that the fallouts were there. And then the 46-yard touchdown, kind of just ran my route, executed it. When I stuttered, I guess the corner overlapped Tez, and I was just wide open on it, So, yes, sir, did my job, and we executed it.
That is Troy Franklin. Another big day for him, doing his job, and a big-time play. Huge touchdown, had a few touchdowns. Oregon football, 42-6 win over Stanford. We're going to step aside, take a timeout here on Duck Insider. It's the Oregon soccer head coach Graeme Abel coming up next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training, and the very next day he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. My way of continuing my service is to help protect my community by being a responsible gun owner and by storing firearms safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider in the Country Financial Studio, here with Oregon soccer head coach Graeme Abel. Coach, thanks for sticking around. Thanks for joining us here today on a Monday, coming off a home weekend in Pac-12 play. The first Pac-12 play at home this season. I just want you to tell me about the experience in front of the home fans. What was the atmosphere like at Pape this weekend?
It was great. I mean, really good attendance, and obviously whenever a footballer out of town, it can be a little quieter around town, but no, good, really good fan, good attendance of fans and stuff out there. So the atmosphere was great.
I want to talk to you a little bit about the offense because it felt like the offense was more efficient this weekend. When you had the opportunities, your team converted at a more efficient rate than previously this year. What kind of clicked over the weekend? Where did you see that offensive efficiency sort of take place?
Yeah, I think some of that chemistry is starting to come out, and in terms of people being able to get on the ball and some of the combinations and things like that. And we're able to rotate a few more players in. You see a few of the younger players are getting a little bit more confidence about them in terms of the college game, getting up to the speed of things. So some really good contributions, all around. And yeah, I thought we looked probably the most dangerous we have done in the attacking side of the ball.
Lauren Kenny, offensively, you talked about her, mentioned her as a standout after the game. Sort of what does that entail? What were some of the things that you saw from her that did stand out?
She wriggles out of pressure, differently than probably any player I've had here. At Oregon, probably maybe Zoe in the 21 season was really, really good at being able to do that, and so I think she's probably a little bit better than Zoe in terms of that piece, probably a little bit more athletic in terms of getting out of those spaces and stuff. So, but she's great when she gets faced up and goes on the dribble. Good player, and she's obviously still got a long way to go in terms of her learning piece, but she's got a really good base to start with. I thought Grace Mensah was terrific. She's one who has taken a little bit of time just because she came from kind of a lower level of club soccer. She was one that we kind of found randomly, and so she's now starting to find her feet. And you probably saw yesterday she was one of our most effective attackers in terms of running the players and using her speed and being really, really effective. And showed really good strength for a young kid in terms of in that environment against Pac-12 teams. So those two did exceptionally well. And then obviously Caitlin Pokolba's goal was excellent. She scored one just like it in the spring, and a really good confidence boost for her with a really good finish with her weaker foot.
It felt like the skill on some of the goals were a higher degree of difficulty than some of the chances that you had this year, and your team was able to convert. There were a few off of headers. You mentioned Pokolba's goal.
Yep.
The degree of difficulty for the goals this weekend, it seemed pretty high. What was it like to sort of see your team convert on what were difficult chances and turning them into goals?
Yeah, I mean both balls were kind of bouncing around, both Pokolba's and Lauren's in terms of the strike and stuff like that. So no, good finishes, hit with confidence, and And I mean, Lauren, look, she hit the leather off the ball. I don't know if the ball's still made with leather these days, but hit the leather off the ball when she hit through it, and a really good finish.
It hit some of the stitching panels off.
That's it, yeah.
A few of them popped off onto the field. I actually saw them after the game over on the turf. But how do you teach that when, especially with the header involved? Twice you were able to convert with the header involved, once off of a corner, once off of just a cross.
Yep.
How do you teach the control with the head? Because it's a little bit different. It's the only sport where you're using your head as sort of a tool. What is the process of teaching headers and teaching that control, especially around the box?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a certain skill set that when we recruit, we look for that skill set in players. I think in my time here, we've always kind of had a player higher up the field who's been able to do that in terms of hold the ball up or flick on with their head. Ryan was the one yesterday able to flick it on, and Corbs was able to run onto it. So I think the training comes probably from when they're younger. It's going to become less and less these days with the research into concussions and things like that. So I know when we do a lot of our heading around here, we do it with volleyballs, just so they're not taking the brunt of constantly heading the ball that's traveling at 60, 70 miles an hour.
This might be a really dumb question, but when you're recruiting, do you look for players that have a larger surface area on their head so that they have more of an ability to angle that ball?
No, because if that was the case, I got a full ride to every Division I school the size of my globe. So no, what you try to do is, what we try to do anyway, is look for, okay, when we're recruiting someone, what's their special quality in terms of that they would bring something different to our group, and so you look for that piece, and then you go from there. You make sure you don't have too many of the same on the team, and you have a little bit of variety and things like that in your class. So that's kind of what we do in our process.
You mentioned the chemistry improving for this team, and you saw it come out this weekend. What are some of the benchmarks that you see from a team where it's they are clicking together? You can see that the players are connected and making the runs together. How do you sort of see chemistry manifest itself on the field?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the combinations up into the final third when the spaces are probably a little bit tighter. I thought in the first 15 minutes against Colorado, right up to the point when we conceded the goal, I thought we were excellent. I thought probably the best we've played all season in terms of moving the ball, even higher up the field. When we got into those positions higher up the field, we were confident in terms of moving the ball, 1 and 2 touch. If it didn't work for us, we were comfortable coming out of the space to go back into a different space. Players attacking space, putting a foot on the ball and having support underneath the ball. So you start to see those different pieces come out. And then, I think one of the things early in the season we were probably guilty of was once we get into the final third, we panic and just serve. And we'd have nobody in the 18-yard box. Thought we were better in terms of connecting 1 or 2 more passes into the final third to allow them to get into that part of the field so we could actually create legit goal scoring opportunities.
Oregon soccer head coach Graeme Abel joining us. Made a switch at goal this weekend.
Yep.
Leah Parsons got the start. What did you see from her? Why did she earn that position?
Well, Maddie was sick on Wednesday. We found out Maddie wasn't going to be able to play the game, so Leah had done exceptionally well. We'd seen her in the recruiting process and knew what she could do, so there was no hesitation in terms of putting her into the goal, and thought she did really well. Really nice presence in terms of communication back there, the distance she played away from the back line. I think when you put a young collegiate goalkeeper in goal at times, they can tend to play a little bit deeper on the line. She was confident there, confident with her feet, made some good saves. And so it was great to see her in a couple of games. And obviously Maddie was back for Sunday, and we just wanted to continue with Leah to give her the full weekend, and so she could learn from that piece. And so we've now got legitimate competition in goal across all 4 of them.
Going on the road this weekend down to Southern California. Before we talk about the matchup, just for you, what's the process of going on the road? Is there a favorite gas station snack that you need? Is there a packing ritual? What for you is sort of the preparation, or is it just chuck everything in the suitcase, get on the plane?
I'll probably open up my suitcase from the last road trip and do my laundry on Tuesday night and then put it back in the suitcase. No, it's it's basically you're traveling with all your gear basically for the games, what you do at home. You get to a hotel room, you never unpack your bag. You're on the go just like you are when you're at home. So it's making sure we keep the routine as comfortable as we can for the student athletes. We're in school now, so there's obviously going to be the study time piece that goes into it as well. So making sure we create those windows for the kids. We have family in town, so making sure we get them in, additionally with our meetings that we would do at home. So trying to keep it as comfortable as possible and, take all the stress off the kids.
You're at the gate waiting for the flight. There's the vending machine right there. What are you getting out of the vending machine?
That's a good question. Swedish fish. Something like that, something simple.
So you're a candy guy?
I've definitely got a sweet tooth for sure.
Okay.
For sure, yeah.
I do want to shift gears into this weekend because it's a two difficult opponents, two top 25 teams, UCLA, USC, coming up this weekend. For a team like yours, what is the test and what are you trying to see out of your team this weekend, either from a learning perspective or what you want to see on the pitch?
Well, it's continuing to, trying to get on the ball and continue to grow that part of things, and we've, been getting better week to week with regards to that piece. It's continuing to have the confidence, even maybe later into the game, past that 60-minute mark when we start to tire a little bit, to have the confidence to keep the ball on the attacking side of things. We've spoken over the past few weeks about the getting in the attacking third, and we've started to see the development with regards to that, and the confidence continue to grow with regards to that. So we've got to keep going with that piece. I think on the defending side of things, these two teams present huge challenges in terms of what they have up top. Really, really good forwards up top. So we've got to make sure that can we stop the flow into those forwards. That's number one. And then number two is if they're going to get into the final third, no doubt about it, in our defending final third, and we got to make sure that we don't give them anything in terms of this weekend free kick penalties. The opportunities, free opportunities we don't want to give away. So we've got to make sure we're smart with regards to that piece. And then defend the 18-yard box well. And then once we get the ball in transition, make sure we connect out of transition so we're not pinning ourselves back into our defending third and we get higher up the field and then start to control the game that way.
USC coming up on Thursday, 3 p.m. is going to be the start for that game. Sunday at 1 p.m. is going to be against UCLA. Anything else that fans should know? Any keys for the team going into the weekend?
No, any fans out in the LA area, come out and cheer us on. I mean, it's a bye weekend for football, right?
Bye weekend for football.
So we got there might be some more people in the LA area, some Ducks in the LA area, not traveling to Eugene. So if they want to come support the Ducks, come out to UCLA and USC.
That's Oregon soccer head coach Graeme Abel. Coach, thanks for hanging out. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to come back on Duck Insider, closing out the show with a few more football interviews and more. Coming up next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with the Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with the Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider here in the Country Financial Studio. Ryan Milano on the show today on a Monday. Oregon football still breaking down the win for the Ducks 42-6 over Stanford. We heard earlier in the show from Bucky Irving. Well, he had 88 yards and a touchdown. His running back mate, Jordan James, had 88 yards and a touchdown. Here's the sophomore running back, Jordan James.
I just felt good doing, what I know I can do. I just got to step up and fill that role. That it's a big role because Noah's a great player, but I just got to step up and do what I can.
Jordan, when you guys had such a struggle with that first quarter, did it feel like a game that you guys were going to go up for 42 unanswered? Did you feel like it was just a matter of a couple things coming together?
Yeah, we were just beating ourselves. That's all it was. It wasn't anything that Stanford was doing, or it was. We just had to adjust. We were just beating ourselves. But we know what we're capable of, so.
Kind of touched it there, but what do you attribute to just the jump start in the second half? The offense looked really good in the second half compared to the first half.
Yeah, we just came back and made our adjustments. We know the type of team we are. We know the type of offense we are. We're a very explosive offense, and we know what we're capable of. So we play to our standard in the second half.
What kind of goes through your mind? It is a little bit different than the customarily something you do, and you did it very well. So when you see that open field, how much grass is what's going through your mind as well?
Yeah, it is different than my initial role that I had at Oregon, but I'm just they do a good job of preparing me for every look that I'm going to get in practice, so it feels normal, it feels natural to me.
James was kind of just talking about it, but you had a very specified role last year. Do you feel like now you're getting an opportunity to show the whole complete package of what you can do on the field?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I just unfortunate injury, but I got to step up and I gotta fill that role. I gotta do what he was doing. I gotta pick up. So.
That's Jordan James after the win for Oregon football, 42-6, the final score. We got to get in a final timeout, stepping aside on Duck Insider, and then we'll come back to close out the show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Into the building for the first time after the shooting. It was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because feeling full can sound like this.
How did the interview go? I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
And like this.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/act now. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider. Ryan Milano here in the Country Financial Studio. Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. It is time for the Cafe Yum 2-minute drill. A whole lot happening in Oregon athletics over the weekend and currently going on today. Both men's and women's golf in action. Men's golf at the Ben Hogan Invitational. The Ducks currently in 5th place, shooting 1 over as a team, and 3 Ducks currently tied for 18th with a 71st round. For women's golf, the Windy City Classic starting today. Brianna Chacon notched her 300th career birdie. She is the 6th Duck in program history to have that number of 300 career birdies. She is leading the way for Oregon along with Kiara Romero at 4 under currently as the Ducks hold 4th place in the Windy City Classic. And Oregon volleyball, big weekend for the Ducks on the court at Matthew Knight Arena. The Ducks won against Washington earlier in the weekend, dropped against Washington State yesterday in what was a very, very competitive matchup between 2 top 7 teams in the country and, well, now 2 top 5 teams in the country. It's RPI season. The first RPI report has been released. Oregon sitting at number 4 in the RPI and at number 5 in the latest AVCA ranking. So it's a top 5 squad for Matt Ulmer's team. Joey will talk with Coach Ulmer on the show tomorrow. See you, everybody.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.